This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Carol. Carol talks for a living, from morning till night. So she relies on Flo's crystal clear home phone service brought to her through Flo's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her in the know, and because she bundles her mobile broadband and TV services, she enjoys huge savings, so she can enjoy much more for much less. So visit any Flo retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
It's Thursday, September the 22nd, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, one of the most sought-after regional economic experts yesterday afternoon cast serious doubt on the country's economic future, declaring that government's current strategies for growth were likely to fail. Addressing a small and medium enterprise stakeholders forum at the Accra Beach Resort in Christchurch on the topic Small Business Development in the Age of Creative Destruction, Senior Fellow at the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute for Social and Economic Studies at the University of the West Indies Cayfield campus, Dr. Keith Nurse, said while the country had done well in the past 50 years, he was worried about the next 50. In fact, Nurse told the Friendly Stewart administration that it would have to do something out of the ordinary if it wanted to return to the island to the good old days of between 2% and 4% growth, insisting that his prediction was supported by data for the developed and developing world, showing a flat line of only about 1% growth during the past 8 years. Help could soon be on the way for water-starved communities across Barbados. The Caribbean Development Bank said it was working feverishly with the authorities to disburse funds under an already approved $80 million loan agreement with the Barbados Water Authority. CDB President Warren Smith tells Barbados Today the bank regards it as a very high priority project.
What is happening here is that it's not very different from what obtains across the region. The infrastructure, water infrastructure, needs to be modernized, and that is part of what that loan is all about, to help the government of Barbados to address the infrastructure, the water infrastructure, to modernize it, to reduce losses in the system, because that's a big source of the cost of water and also the availability of water across the Caribbean. Losses tend to be in the order of 50% and higher sometimes.
Barbados is beginning to feel the impact of the vote by Britons to leave the European Union, with tourism's private sector reporting a fall in financial returns. While not providing figures, Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Sue Springer, yesterday revealed that British visitors to Barbados were spending less since the vote due to the sliding sterling. Addressing the association's quarterly general meeting at the Hilton Barbados Resort, Springer explained that while arrivals from Barbados's primary source market have not declined, there was evidence of cutbacks in spending, especially in patronage of the island's major attractions.
The rate of exchange for the pound sterling is beginning to have its effects, especially on some of our attractions, as the UK visitors seem to be cutting back. They're still coming. The UK visitors love their vacation. They're not going to not come on vacation, but they're cutting back on what they're doing. I've always said I've seen people at the bus stop, but I think I'm seeing even more people at the bus stop now. And this may not be such as we move forward into the winter season, but we're certainly seeing it at the moment.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Welcome back with news from the region now. Trinidad and Tobago government has called on the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to test fish samples for oil and heavy metal pollutants. The quest for independent third-party input comes after 2 months of tit-for-tat between EMA and the fishermen and the Friends of the Sea, which raised red flags about the safety of consuming fish from the Gulf of Paria.
When thousands of dead fish began washing ashore along Mosquito Creek in July, the EMA insisted they'd been dumped. They pushed back against claims from FFOS that it was actually a fish kill connected either to the 2013 oil spill or cleanup chemical Corexit. Now the government has asked the agency responsible for food safety in the U.S. to give a conclusive answer.
The results of the test will provide the basis, therefore, for a definitive statement on this issue, as the current results that we have from the several tests that you would have been informed about cannot.
It's the first time the EMA has held a news conference to address the concerns. It has consistently responded via press release, even as fishermen nationwide complain of collapsing businesses and consumers forego fish, uncertain who to believe. The concerns are about the safety of consuming fish from the Gulf of Paria, but the FDA will get samples from 12 sites nationwide.
In other regional news now, more than 500 traffic offenders have been charged in Guyana within the first few days of Operation Safe Way. That's a police initiative aimed at restoring law and order on the roads of the country. Javon Vickery reports from Georgetown.
Last week, Operation Safeway was initiated by the Guyana Police Force as a means of restoring order on the roads of Guyana, and since its implementation, the Traffic Department has arrested more than 500 persons for traffic offenses ranging from speeding to driving under the influence. Traffic Chief Dion Moore, while presenting a host of equipment to the commanding traffic ranks in all policing divisions, explained that thus far, the majority of the arrests were made in A Division, which covers areas from Georgetown to Timeri.
Since we've launched Operation Safeway, we have, I could quickly say, one fatal accident, which resulted in the death of 2 persons. That accident occurred on Unity along the East Coast. The driver has since been charged. He went to court today and he has been remanded until the 11th of next month. In terms of enforcement, 41 persons have since been arrested for driving above the prescribed alcohol limit and 356 persons for speeding.
And on the international scene, for a second night, protests over a deadly officer-involved shooting in Charlotte, North Carolina turned violent, with police firing tear gas and demonstrators throwing objects and trying to damage vehicles. Keith Lamont Scott, a father of 7, was killed by police in an apartment complex parking lot Tuesday as officers looked for another man named in a warrant they were trying to serve. The shooting set off a long night of violent protests, and Wednesday the demonstrations continued for a second night, starting off as a peaceful march through downtown Charlotte. But when the demonstrators neared an Omni Hotel, some people climbed the roof of an outdoor mall and started throwing objects at the crowd. Other people were banging on the doors of the hotel, and police in riot gear emerged in the entrance. Late last night, there were reports of at least 1 person being shot dead and 15 police officers injured during the demonstration. A CNN reporter was also caught in the chaos.
Basically, we were following the crowd all the way down to this part of downtown. At one point, people got really agitated. There were trash cans thrown from the top of the mall, and then they came here. And as you can see, people are trying to damage these vans. So far, they've put out, oh wow. They put out a pepper spray. People are running from it. Jerry, get out of there! Jerry, get out of there! So as you can tell, the situation is totally out of control. So there were agitators that were getting pulled in by police, and a couple people started sitting down, but police grabbed one, and that's when everything just went out of control. You can see police are trying to control the situation, but there's tear gas everywhere. People started launching the tear gas back at the police. Hey, watch out! There's gas under you! Get out of there! There are more cans of tear gas getting thrown into the street right now, Anderson, and we're trying to get out of the way.
That's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper email updates and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.